5 seconds before you hit your iron shots, I guarantee you will hit longer, straighter, more accurate shots. Hi everyone, my name is James Robinson, welcome back to Get Good at Golf. Today we're talking about irons, and irons is a really funny thing because when we do driver videos, everyone wants to hit the ball a lot further, everyone wants a much higher ball flight, everyone wants to knock it past the friends, whereas realistically, if we talk irons here, generally you will start to see your scores drop because you are hitting it a lot closer to the flag, giving yourself more chance at making birdies, less chance at making bogeys, and just 2 putting for pars. So what do I need to do here to make sure I can hit good iron shots? And what do I do before the ball is a little checkpoint to make sure that I can compress that ball into the turf? You see, we've got 150 yards here, and I've got a nice 8 iron. Now, you may think here you need to hit this to 10, 15 feet to be a good shot, whereas realistically, tour averages would be much broader than that. Chris knows what they are. Chris, what would it be from 150 yards here?
So we'll be looking around about 35 to 40 feet.
So if you think 35 to 40 feet, as long as I get a good strike there, is well within tour average. I've actually kind of shocked myself there that I've actually hit that to about 5 feet. That wasn't the point I was trying to make. The point I'm trying to make is this here. We're down in the dirt now talking about impact, and the big thing that I've done is compress that ball. Now, if I were to hit you another shot, which I'm going to do in just a second, I would hope we would see a very similar outcome, a very similar height, a very similar distance, and very similar accuracy. Now, how do I do that, and what do I need to do before the shot to make sure that happens? You see, the key to making sure you have a square club face is making sure the body works correctly. So making sure on that downswing I have a good sequence where I work my legs and hips, then torso, then arms, then the club, and you'll see that club is now working down onto the golf ball. I've got a little bit of forward shaft lean, which is nice, that's what we want. We're going to dynamically de-loft that club through impact, and that allows you to make sure you hit straighter and longer golf shots. But how are the straighter golf shots, you ask? Because if I'm de-lofting it, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to go straighter, but actually it does, because if I have forward shaft lean here, that club face makes it a lot easier to work through the ball squarely. If I have no forward shaft lean and the club face just rotates too much, that's how you start to see people flip the hands over. That's how you see people leave the club face open, and that's how you see people not get good at golf. Guys, if you want to get good at golf, smash that subscribe button. So now if I hit you the same shot again, my pre-shot routine is, right, where is my weight? I want it favouring my left side. I want it favouring my left side because from here I can push off my left side onto my right side for the top. Then from here, I can turn down into the ball. I can get that hip rotating. I get my weight back onto my left side. That allows me to put that forward shaft lean in because there's plenty of room here. And generally from there then, you can see I hit a very similar shot. That one stayed out to the right a little bit. That's going to be more that 30, 40 feet that Chris spoke about, but it's exactly flag high. It's gone the same distance, and it's done everything that I want it to do. The problem that we see, if people don't have those hips rotating properly, then we start to see people who back up behind the ball, throw the loft at the ball incorrectly. You'll see shots like this. Oh, I mean, what went wrong there? I just caught the front of the green, and luckily I managed to square the club face up. I didn't do anything correctly there that I've been speaking about, and the alternative to that is this shot. The flat top. That's because I've not got down into the ball, I've not rotated properly, and I've certainly not got the forward shaft lean that we're trying to get. So make sure, guys, before the shot, you take those 5 seconds, make sure you're set in the right place, make sure you know you've got plenty of room to allow that hip to rotate. If you struggle with that, one thing I like to do is turn that left foot out, because then from the top of the backswing, that makes it a lot easier to turn those hips into the ball. I start moving that belt towards the target for impact, and then as soon as I've hit the shot, the belt is pointing towards the target. Now, Chris is going to give us a really good drill to help you do this, and hopefully help you hit shots like that first one, which Chris is going to put on screen again now, because it doesn't happen that often for me. I need to start listening to what I'm telling you here.
So guys, it is about 5 seconds like you know in this title, and that's all we're going to do with your drills. So we're going to really think about now how I can do some drills that don't take me too long, that can get us into the positions and get us pressuring the golf ball. And guys, don't remember, email below if you are looking to improve your game, whether it is online or in person, give us an email on that. But let's talk drills then. So obviously to pressure the golf ball, we need to think about what do we need to do. Would I be returning an arm very much straight like this, which is what we see from a lot of golfers, very rigid arms, come down, in this kind of position. It's not going to put much pressure on it. Again, if you had a wall there, if your arm's straight, can you put much pressure on? No, you can't. So what I want to see, obviously, into impact is we're going to have a little bit of bend in your arm. We're also going to see that, obviously, this hand is where we would then pressure it from. So if I was to rotate into impact, that will be putting pressure on. If you think if that was against a wall, again, I'll be able to put a lot of pressure onto that golf ball. Once we can get that right arm into that position, then that's going to be good. A good way to obviously do that is to obviously get a ball into your hand here, put your wrist into that pressure position, and if you just make a swing now, if I drop the club, right arm is bent, and I would be then throwing that down and pressuring it down into the ground, because that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get the pressure down into the golf ball. We're hitting down into the ball. A couple of those. If that's in your net or you're on a driving range, then you can do that. Yes, you might sacrifice 2 golf balls.
Very consistent dispersion there with that.
It gets us into the right position. If you start to see those golf balls when we do that motion go out to the right, we know that that's why you are maybe pushing shots to the right. Again, if you are then somebody who pulls it to the left, you might be somebody who is early releasing, and if I do that, it goes to the left. So straight away you're getting feedback of what your wrists are doing. Yes, we're looking to release, but release neutral. If I get my arm into that position, I can release more down the line. We're going to get the ball starting on line exactly like James's first shot, which for him again I will put on screen. So after we've done that, we want to think about, right, everybody talks about weight transfer, everyone talks about obviously how do I get into that position. Well, one of the big things that you'll see, a reason why Ricky Fowler's come back to the top of the game, is he's been working on trying to get his weight a little bit more centred, but also into the backswing we need something to push off. So James's point about having 60% of the weight on the left side is exactly what we want to do, because we need something, a little bit of a trigger to push off and start to load into our backswing. So what Ricky Fowler's been doing is working obviously from his left, we then transfer the weight onto the right, and then I'm down onto the left and through to impact. So a good way to do that is obviously to feel that your feet are tapping a little bit. It keeps you centered, but also we then start from the left. So my weight goes onto the left and then onto the right, and we can just get that tapping feel to feel like I'm centered, because what we see from a lot of amateurs, and the reason why you can't pressure the golf ball, is that we will see that you go, okay, I've got to get onto my right hand side, I'm already 50-50. Right, yeah, I'm onto my right hand side. We never get through onto that left hand side. We top it, the fantastic demonstration that James did. He's better at those than I am. But that's not going to help us get the pressure onto that golf ball. So we need to obviously get that feet working good, getting me feel like I'm centered, up to the top, and then from there I can come through to that finish. And it's just a little thing to check what you're doing with your weight. If you can't do that and you start to go fall off, you know exactly what you're doing. If you go the other way, you might be somebody who very much starts like this in the backswing, gets from here, you do exactly the same thing, you fall back to try and help the ball into the air. No pressure added there. Again, arm will be straight because we're casting that club and we're adding a lot of loft. So once we've done that, we can bring that into play. So even from there, you've done the arm drill, you've done one ball, you've done a few swings where you're tapping your feet. And now just try and get that same kind of thing where I'm going to set it into that impact position, and then from here I just want to hit little shots. So if I'm over the ball, I'm going to tap my feet up to the top, down into this position, and then from here all I want you to do is just hit a shot where we get that starting on line. You see I took a little bit of a divot. Where is that gone? It's gone exactly on the line for the flag. I know then I'm actually squaring the face up, I'm putting a little bit of pressure on the golf ball, and now we can put that into a full swing. So I'll bring this ball back and I'll try and do exactly those feels. I've done my drills.
You can't get inside mine.
Can I get it closer than James? That's the goal. Pressured the ball.
There's a chance.
Straight towards the flag.
Oh! No, just.
It's closer than James. A nice little divot there. Picked it up, pressured it. The ball flight was nice and direct, straight towards my target. And guys, if you do those drills, it's going to help you get good at golf.